Today you'll see underwater the huge difference this simple Texas rig tip can make. We've talked in the past about using two bobber stops or weight stops on either side of a worm weight. It allows you to adjust to a traditional pegged worm weight look or some sort of leader situation just by sliding the stops around. Well, in this video we are testing 3 lengths for both regular Plastisol and Elaztech worms. We'll watch these baits with the worm weight pegged tight to the hook, a 6-inch leader length, and then a 12-inch leader length. And when watching these back to back, one after another, you can really see what this slight adjustment makes. Well, let's start with the Elaztech worm first. Here is the bait with the pegged worm weight all the way towards the hook. And as we would expect, the tail stands up or floats up after we pause the lure for just a second. Now also note, the lure is quick and erratic in its movement when the rig is drug along the bottom. Now let's look at what happens when the weight is slid up the line to create a short, approximate 6-inch leader situation. Immediately, we can see there is a noticeable difference in how the Elaztech worm behaves. It now has a little more glide to it, as well as a slow upward movement with more of the lure, not just the tail. And it's also clear that the lure slides through the water more as opposed to the quicker and more abrupt changes when the weight is pegged tight. And here is the Elaztech worm with the 12-inch leader adjustment. The gliding and sliding movement we witnessed with the 6-inch leader is more pronounced and obvious with the 12-inch version. Now, of course, you can use a split shot rig, mojo rig, or even a finesse Carolina rig to achieve the same thing. But the ability to quickly adjust on the fly without retying is a really great option here. For example, maybe I'm fishing in an area that has just a rocky bottom and no other debris. Well, the weight pegged tight can work great, but then I find myself in an area with a little more bottom muck or thicker bottom composition. Adding a little length to the leader will help that lure stay up and above that muck. Now let's look at the Plastisol worm. With the weight pegged tight, we experience a similar type of movement as with the Elaztech, quicker and sharper starts and stops. And there are times when the tail does take a little longer to sink back down to the bottom. Now here is the same worm weight slid up the line to make that 6-inch leader. The lure drifts or settles back to the bottom a little slower than when it is pegged tight to the hook. For those of you that love split shotting or using a mojo rig, you know how powerful a short leader like this can be in creating a slightly more subtle presentation. When we lengthen the leader to 12 inches on the Plastisol worm, we can observe a longer drift and settling of the lure. Once again, a nice subtle presentation. And there have been many of you over the years that talk about the disturbance that the weight creates ahead of the lure and how it looks like the lure is chasing something, trying to capture it. And hey, if you'd like to watch a video that helps determine how to select the correct hard jerk bait, go ahead and check out this video right here and make sure that you go out and encourage someone. You never know how you might just change their life. For the Bass Fishing Life, I'm your host, Steve Rogers.